Good morning, friends and traders. Welcome to the Market Forecast. I am Dan Hodgman. It is Tuesday, October 13th, and we have another fun day ahead of us. Markets are moving already. We're seeing some action. We have levels already being hit, stuff that we talked about yesterday. And man, earnings have started to roll in. Banks are looking good. Delta, big miss. No surprise there, right? Airlines are going on their layoff run here in the next couple weeks, so we're going to start seeing airlines really start to slow down. You're starting to hear weird things about airlines too. We've also got continuation of the Supreme Court justice going up with the Senate today. Apple's launching their new Apple 12, iPhone 12 or something like that, i12X, whatever. It's Amazon Prime Day, so if you like buying stuff on Amazon, get on there, take a look. There are some deals. I'm scrolling through there, seeing if I can find some ideas for some Christmas gifts. And then one that I find really interesting is Disney starting to restructure. They're going to be focusing on video streaming a lot more now that they've got their own platform. That'll be quite interesting to see how that all comes out and comes to play. Markets around the world are moving. S&P's a little bit lower. Nasdaq higher. Oops, looking at the wrong thing there. But we're not far from those highs. We are not far, you guys. So we got to be cautious, right? Yesterday we talked about how we need to focus on running with the trend. The last thing I want to say is selling tips. I know a lot of people are going to be looking to start to sell some tips. I would just say be cautious as we get closer to these highs. Yeah, you're probably going to start to see some sellers come in and try and push things a little bit lower. But there's not a lot of information where we're at right now. There's only 2 trading days where we're at right now to give us any idea of where some former positions are. So now people are going to be adjusting. They're going to be looking for new levels up here. And so we'll run through a couple of those here this morning. So just be cautious with all that. Also, good morning, Tanya, Charles, Felix. I apologize, cannot speak German. Or Russian, excuse me. Mike, good morning. Jimmy, Marco, MMS Capital. Is there a chat Top Step where we can chat and trade together? We no longer have a chat room, but what we do have is we have our Facebook community, topsteptrader.com/Facebook. That's a very active Facebook channel where people are talking all day long about their trades. Level 2, good morning. Vanus, good morning. Subconscious. Doyle. Sarah, good morning. Good morning. Say hi to Hoag for me. An extra $1,000 above the target and $400 so far this morning. Outstanding. Outstanding. Great job, Jory. James, good morning. Starting to lean down a little bit. Dolby time. Nick Dolby, good to see you. All right. Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks for clarifying. Dimitri, thank you for clarifying that one for me. All right. No, that is my 1980 Olympic hockey team jersey. Got it signed by the whole team, including Herb. It's my prized possession. All right, guys, let's go take a look at these charts, see what we got going on here today, and make sure we can make it to our open. All right, as always, we are starting with our daily in crude. Market is continuing to check this weekly kickoff low. Again, weekly kickoff low 39.50. Just let me double check that. Yeah, I was just looking at it. Yep. Weekly kickoff low down here 39.50, but market hasn't shown no acceptance below. We are showing some support down at that level. Today, I'm expecting on a daily time frame to be staying very comfortably within this range at this point. Nothing's telling me otherwise just yet. We have shown no acceptance. We've really shown no excitement or volume when we've gotten below that 39.50. Therefore, I'm going to look for this thing to hold out and move sideways, possibly a little higher. But let's take a look on the 30-minute chart and see where we can go. Last night, we came and checked. Guys, we came and checked the low end of our box. That low end of where we said we had that slight gap that maybe this thing's going to try and close. Did not get there. Great opportunity for a trade here if you guys were active in the trade. Market settled last night at 39.43 all the way down here. Wouldn't be surprised to see that market want to come and check it out. Remember, we got weekly kickoff low down here at 39.50 with a settlement price down here at 39.43. There's a lot that's telling us this market wants to at least just come check these prices. We may find that this continuation to the downside could continue. Right now, we are showing that we are seeing volume to the upside. We are showing a little bit trend to the upside. So for me, I'm in a holding pattern right here. And this is, I'll just tell you what I'm thinking. Right now, I'm a little cautious. I cannot make a decision on which way I think this thing's going to go just yet. If I am going long, I'm looking for areas where I can kind of place a pretty tight stop, and that's tough right now. Same thing with the short side. I'm looking for areas I can put a pretty tight stop. Tight stop to the short side is giving me a little better opportunity right now to maybe see this thing run a little bit lower. But we just opened up a few minutes ago. For me, I got to wait just a little bit longer. But here's what I'm looking at in this market today. First things first. Settlement price to weekly kickoff low, that range, 43 up to 50. That's a great range in my opinion. I really like it. We have yesterday's value area high down here at 49.50, and we got yesterday's value area or point of control down here at 34. So there's a lot pointing to this range down here to see this market attract down there. If we get through it, then yes, 39 is the interesting area. But up above, a couple things I'm looking at. First off, we got to really break through this 44 up to 53 area. If we can break through there, I'll be looking not much higher. First stop is going to be 60. Yesterday's settlement price. I still want to see that get checked. And then from there, I've got 41.10. 41.10. So if this thing does extend higher, those are a couple areas that I'll be looking at up above. Next, let's go ahead and look at the S&P 500, which is just pressing up on weekly kickoff high. Again, weekly kickoff high is 35.45. Few points below it here, guys. We are getting pretty darn close. Settlement price yesterday, just a few points off it as well. Do we break through? I think set a kickoff high here is going to be a pivotal area for us right now. This market is still, just because we're down just a little bit here today, showing strong trend to the upside. Trend is maintaining to the upside. Therefore, hard to argue that trend trade, right? So when we look a little bit closer, settlement price right up here at 35, 32, 3/4. Market is continuously finding a little bit of support at yesterday's value area low, 35.16. And I'm going to continue to kind of keep an eye on that as this market continues to work a little bit lower here. That may be a pivotal area for us. If we break below that, we start to show acceptance below that 35.16, start pushing a little lower, start making new lows, we may see sellers overpowering this market. If not, if we find some support here, first thing I'm looking to do is take this market right up to settlement price. Settlement price again, 35, 32, 3/4. From here, the next area, I've got a lot of checkpoints up above that's going to help me kind of define how I'm going to look at this market. Remember, 75. 75 is that new, would be right where we start hitting new all-time highs. So we're not far from it. So to get up there, I've got 32. Like I said, first level is going to be 32. Then I'm running this thing not much higher to 40. And then from 40, we're going to look a little bit of room. If I get through 40, if I get above yesterday's value area high, which is 41, if I can get above that, I wouldn't be surprised to see new highs being checked. It's going to take a lot of work to get up there. Like I said, 32 up to 40, 41, that area. We're going to start to be cautious there. And then maybe we'll run this thing to 75 if the market turns. First place I had down below is 35.18. From there, guys, we talked about it yesterday, 87, 86. If this thing turns around, that's kind of the area we start to look for if it really starts to accelerate to the downside. Downside, we're going to have to start watching earnings reports, keeping an eye on the Supreme Court Senate hearings today, and keeping an eye on possible news coming out. President Trump is back out on the campaign trail. We'll see. Maybe he wants to work a deal with Pelosi. So who knows? There could be something happening with stimulus. It's always got to be on our radar. Next, let's go ahead and look at the Nasdaq, which just keeps pushing higher. Sorry, I don't need this level here. I just kind of set it as an idea here for our all-time highs up above. Nasdaq is the strong one so far. Today, Nasdaq's going to be pretty interesting with Apple releasing some stuff. We're going to be keeping an eye on that Apple stock. What happens with Apple could be a factor here. Tech's going on. Amazon could be an interesting stock to keep an eye on today. There are a lot of tech stocks to start watching here today with a lot of things going on. Could be an igniter for directional move in the Nasdaq. When we look a little bit closer on the Nasdaq, here are a couple things to keep an eye on. First off, settlement price. It's coming towards it. We're seeking it out. 12,098 half. 12,098 half. Guys, this was a much stronger market, directional market yesterday than I really thought we were going to get. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a sell-off to kind of rebalance pricing, which we saw a little bit last night. But nonetheless, if this thing does continue lower, first place we're looking at opportunity settlement price. Does 98 create a little bit of support, or are we going to have to go find this overnight consolidation area down here at 50, 12,050? That's that other area to keep an eye on the downside down here. Now, if we break through that, then we're going to start making some adjustments. All right, so I'm going to run through my levels that I have right now. First and foremost, I'm still sticking with this 12,115 from yesterday. I really liked that level. Broke through there nicely, so not too concerned, but definitely a level to keep an eye on. If we can get above 300, this thing's taking off to the moon. We're going to make new highs. If not, if this thing turns around, the first thing I'm watching, 12,000, which is yesterday's value area low. If we go below that, then I'm making some adjustments, right? Because then we got to start looking at, I've got 862, 11,862 down here. It's the next area I'll keep an eye on. And then below that, I mean, I do have levels pointing out at 702, 11,702. All right, so my models are running a couple different things. I'm not looking much lower than this. I don't really anticipate, unless we have some awful news coming out, to see this Nasdaq give up all of yesterday's gains. But just so you guys know, those are a couple of things I have down there. So I'll repeat those again. We're going to start up here at 300. If we get above 300, I'm looking for this thing to go to the moon. Then I've got 12,115, same price I talked about yesterday. From there, settlement price, don't forget, 98 half. Below that, we're looking at 50, 52. Let's just round it simple to 50. And then from there, 12,000. Then we've got 862 down to 702. Those are my levels that I'll be running today in my charting. All right, next let's look at the gold. Down a little bit, struggling to get back into weekly kickoff range. Again, weekly kickoff low there is 1924. Our weekly kickoff high is still 1915. So market struggling to accept back into this range. Continues to sell off a little bit lower. We're moving quite a bit, actually, since I sat down and did my charting, looking at my levels. I said, I'm going to be watching. First thing I'm looking for, do we break 20? If we break 20, this thing could start to roll over. So we broke 20. We're starting to roll over. Yeah, I mean, we're already outside of the range of levels I was looking at. All right, well, let's just run through what I had. 1928.90 settlement price. That was an area I was going to look for opportunity, right? As market approaches settlement, settlement's going to do one of two things. It's going to be a catalyst and propel that market through, or it's going to be a springboard. That market's going to hit and bounce right off. That's what we've got going so far. The market has broke off of settlement price here. We are starting to really rotate over. Now, I don't have much below 1908 other than 1900. That's what I have below 1908. 1900 is the level I have down here. To the high side, a couple things I was going to look for was I was going to keep an eye on 20. I thought 20 was going to be a pivotal level. And I was going to say 36. 36 seems a little out of our realm right now. So I'm going to be cautious. But quite the sell-off right now off of settlement price, which is not too far from weekly kickoff low down here at 1924. All right, that's what we got in gold. This afternoon, I'll get some more information for us. Hard to come up with much when the market completely changed states from the last time I looked at it. Now, euro selling off as well, working its way towards weekly kickoff low, which don't forget, 117.90 weekly kickoff low. We're not far off it, just a few points. This market has moved a little bit more than I anticipated as well. All right, so settlement price. 118.25. 118.25. We're in actually pretty pivotal spot right now. I really like this location we're at. We are starting to come into areas, swing highs, swing lows. They are important. We have multiple swing highs and swing lows right where this market is at. We saw a nice bounce off of it last night, worked its way higher, never really got there. I'm looking at the exact same thing here right now. Does this 17.95 hold? If it holds, we'll look for this rebound. I'm not looking for a huge return. I'm not going to say maybe it'll run all the way up to settlement price. No, I'm really kind of sticking within a relatively tight range, 118.10 down to 117.95. That's the range that I'm going to be looking at here so far. If this thing really, for some reason, does take off, the only thing I'm thinking is recovering to Friday's high up here at 47. I know it's a long way off, but this isn't just an area I don't want to forget. And yeah, the more time we trade away from it, the more time we spend away from it, the harder it's going to be to recover. But right now, we're only 2 days away, day and a half, I should say, away. So I'm not going to put it out of the realm of possibilities just yet. And lastly, let's look at the yen, which has been pretty quiet here lately, but we are starting to see some moves, right? We're starting to see a little bit of directional move. We're starting to see ranges extending a little bit. We're strong, coming off a strong couple days here. Market is starting to sell off. Really, when you look at a 30-minute trend here, beautiful trend to the downside, but where can this thing really go? Well, first level I had before I sat down, when I sat down this morning was, and I sat down about 6 o'clock this morning, so we were a little bit higher. I said, all right, first place we're looking at 84, 94.84. Below that, 94.75. 94.75 is where I think I had some stuff looking at it. Settlement price all the way up here at 94.99. I think it's going to be a hard time getting back in there. I'm kind of going back to this range, guys. I'm keeping an eye on our range here that of this box that we were looking at last week that has continuously kind of been pivotal areas for this market. So remember, the high there is 94.97. Our low here is 94.65. Pretty pivotal areas to continue to keep an eye on as these markets approaches those extremes. Whew. All right, everybody. That's what we got here in these markets. All right, just see if we got any questions or comments here. All right, what do we got? Brett Hall, yes. 80 Olympic jersey, level 2, patiently awaiting for election to get some bargains. Wouldn't be surprised. Good morning, Keith. Dolby, what about that declining volume in S&P? Not worried about declining volume in S&Ps. Markets, when they are trending higher, volume comes in a lot slower. So not too concerned about that at this point. Level 2, 25 to 30 point entry, 25-30 entry range decision point. Like that point of control may yield some profit one way or the other. I would agree with that. NQ lost 31,000 in open interest. NQ had a big, strong upside day. Remember, guys, on a huge trend days like we saw yesterday in equity markets, they are going to struggle to bring in new volume. It's absolutely expected, especially as we are getting closer to new highs. I'm not too concerned about that right now. I think we have strong optimism in a lot of these things. Marco, oh, you're welcome, Marco. Good morning. And I'll send your guys' well wishes to Hoag. Coach's Playbook today, 11:30 a.m. Central Time. Level 2, clearing up our topic there. Hopefully, we'll be able to touch on trending markets, entering into trending markets. Vast West, good morning. Brip, good morning. And Nicholas, good morning. Whale thoughts? Kind of explain a little bit that one for me yesterday. Yesterday was Columbus Day, so less volume was expected. I thought, yeah, absolutely. You know, it is a bank holiday as well. Columbus Day doesn't really seem to have the time off as we used to get, but definitely valid reason for a little less volume, but I still think you're going to see declining volume across a lot of these markets the closer we get to election season, because I can guarantee you prop firms, institutional, everyone's going to be getting their positions as flat as possible. That's how it works. I spent 2 weeks before the last election working my position to get it as neutral as possible, so that really whichever way the market went, I wasn't going to get a loss. I wasn't going to take a win. I was not going to try and risk the volatility during that day. And that's what we're going to start to see here. We're not far from it, guys. We're 20 days away, a little less than that, give or take. We're getting really close to election. So people are going to start dwindling what they're doing. They're going to start slowing down. They're going to start kind of flattening positions. When I say flatten, they're not going to get out of things. They're going to work themselves to delta neutral. And that's what they're going to be working on. So direction for them is not going to be as important, because all they're going to try and do is set their positions. They're going to build their portfolio, build that book out, so that no matter which way the market goes, they're in the money essentially and losing equivalent amount of money. So their position just stays delta neutral no matter which direction that market goes. That way they're covering their risk end. So that's what I'm going to be paying attention to here the next couple weeks. All right, guys, market's open in a few minutes. I look forward to seeing you guys at the Coach's Playbook this afternoon, 11:30 a.m. Central Time. And then don't forget, recap 3 p.m. Central Time. We'll take a look at how these markets played out. Other than that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign on out of here. I hope you have all had a spectacular night. I wish you the best trading day possible. I'm looking for some fun and exciting opportunity here today. I think, oh, guys, I'm hoping for some fun, exciting trade here today. So be cautious, be patient, wait for your opportunities. Don't rush into anything. Don't rush. Just don't do it. If you miss a trade, missing one trade is a hell of a lot better than blowing out your account because you were trying to get in a bad spot. So never stress. The market's never going anywhere. It'll always be there for us. I look forward to having a great day, you guys. So stay safe, wash your hands, trade well. Look forward to seeing you guys in the markets. We'll see you guys at 11:30 and 3 p.m. Central Time today. Take care.